truck in and turn and get into the garage. You'd have to turn back up, pull forward, back up.
90.2.
So with the project, we moved the entrance to what was the barn. It's a carriage house. Barn on the lower level where the horse stayed, and the carriage was upstairs, and then there's a second floor storage. When we lifted the building up, we did two things. We raised it 3 feet, which gave you more headroom in the bottom, and we moved the door from back here over to here so that it was serviceable. And the term that Mr. Campbell used from the county was that it was, I gotta remember the term, Mike.
I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember either.
It was, we made a couple of changes to make, saving the building was costly. And by making those changes, it allowed us to add a 30 by 40 foot garage underneath, and it made it accessible. So, I'm sorry.
Usable, I don't know, usable.
Yeah, it was usable restoration is what, but I mean, there's a term for it, darn it, I can't think of it. But it basically said you're making a minor change for the greater good because we saved the entire Greek Revival building. And that came through. So that's one of the projects that has happened. Other people in town have had to restore different parts of their buildings. And what we do here is we look at it from the historical standpoint, from the practical standpoint, and we make decisions. Oftentimes, our goal is for a certificate of appropriateness. However, sometimes the work that's being done, I'll give you an example, would be Mr. McCanny's house. When they came, they took off all the late 50s steel siding, and they couldn't go back to the original siding because it had been torn off.
Yeah.
It had been torn off. They put sheets of insulation, kind of like aluminum foil cardboard.
Yes.
Oh,
It was the Wonder
insulation
Board.
board?
It said
Yeah,
it.
it was called Wonder Board. And then they put the steel siding over that. So McCanny's couldn't go back to the original wood because it was gone. So they went from the 8-inch steel siding, which covered all the beautiful windows and stuff, tore that all off, and they put in vinyl siding, the 4-inch style, which would have been the original look, brought the bay windows out, brought all the architectural accoutrements that you see up on the house, the fish scale siding and so forth. That was a certificate of, we weren't able to give them a certificate of appropriateness because they weren't using the original, but we did give them a motion to proceed. And we've done that with a couple of houses on Maple Street. And in both cases, the other one's on the corner of College and Park Street, kitty corner for mine. In both cases, we took the old steel siding from the 60s that covered everything up. We gained leaded glass windows on that house. The porch, all of the windows have a Dutch accent to them. All those boards were put back on. We did allow the vinyl siding because when they put the steel siding, they didn't take the original wood off of that house, but they stapled it to death with all the
So Swiss cheese.
the cardboard. Yeah, every board had multiple holes in it from where they either stapled or nailed and tacked to it. So in order to restore the wood would have been not practical, and it wouldn't have been the original wood. So we gave that house a motion to proceed. So there are two different directions.
Does that mean that they don't contribute, they just?
No, they are contributing, it's historical.
So
And
it's
a-
not like the ones that burnt down and got rebuilt, where those?
That's different. That's literally a brand new house. It does still have to look like the historic district, just like Andy's place has to make part of the building look like it fits, but it isn't a red brick 1960s ranch house. in
I'm
the
just
middle
saying
of
like
Albany.
how Mr. McKinney's house and then the other house you're talking about, they couldn't reuse the original pieces and they don't make them anymore.
Yeah,
So,
but they are still a historical home, and all the architecture is still visible there. The windows came back. If you look at the house across the street from mine, which is on the corner of College and Maple, opposite Dick Roselle's house, that is one of the houses that has the old steel siding from the 50s or 60s. If they ever decide to do something with that house, then they'll have to come back. But at that time, what will happen is we will be able to gain back the window accoutrements that are probably hidden underneath
Yeah, the missing
s-
parlor door, the.
siding and the doors and stuff.
It's
Um,
sided over.
Yeah, if one of these days, probably more in the summer, maybe we'll schedule a meeting where we take a tour of the historic district, and I'll be able to stand there and point out what was gained on this house and what the changes were, and somewhere we have photos of before and after that'll make a big difference too. But that's
Yeah,
pretty
Tim.
much, that's
Don't
pretty,
wanna do that in January?
huh?
Don't wanna do that in January?
I could do it in January, but my guess is there are some people that would prefer not to. So, but, that's just pretty much what we do here. We try not to be so hardcore that it makes impossible for people to make changes, but we do try to protect these houses and what's out there. And these guidelines, these are not, by the way, Mr. Price and Mr. Nitschke, these are not ordinances. These are just guidelines. And at the time these get mailed, whatever the ordinances are, that letter, and it'll have to be a joint effort, because it's gonna need to, the attorney's gonna need to approve that, but it's gonna need to say, you still have to adhere to building codes, you still have to do this.
Sounds
Somebody,
like the ordinance.
I was asked by
committee
one,
should meet up.
we were in court with a resident in the township, and I was asked by the mediator, as we were trying to resolve something, if the township would be willing to waive the ADA compliance on the site plan. And I looked at him and I said, do you have the authority to overrule federal law? Because I don't. I mean, there are just some things that you can't get away. And while I'm on that topic, you can't claim to be grandfathered in when it comes to ADA compliance. Even if it's an old building, you still have to have ADA compliance. So those are just some of the things. And as we go through 'em, always feel free to ask questions. There is no dumb question. There may be a dumb answer, but there's no dumb question. And
Only dumb
if we don't
questions,
have the
nice
answer,
questions.
we'll find it. I use both the folks at the Michigan Historic Preservation, as well as Ron Campbell from Oakland County Planning. He has helped in the design with my house, with Mr. McCanny's, with the porch project that was over on College Street. And when it was all said and done, and the people got a little frustrated in the beginning because they had to stop and come in here, they were tickled to death when it was all done because the design looked so nice on the house. So we have some help for people. Downtown, the DDA, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have some grant money for facade work on the front.
Yep, that still exists.
They've still got that? So sometimes if it's a new person with a new building and they want to bring it back, there are several buildings downtown. Blackthorn, they did a wonderful job of bringing that back. Avia's was an interesting building because it had what you would call the 1950s drugstore look. With the windows and the inset door and stuff, because that's what it was. But they took it back to even what it was originally. The building on the end of the street, Holly Herrick's building. Altered, well, it's actually Bob Hoffman's building, but where Altered Designs is, that building was covered in T111 before Hoffman ripped all that off on the front. And all the front, for its glory, was sitting right there waiting to be exposed. So we have had a lot of good things happen through the HDC and buildings protected and brought back. We did a lot of work on the coffee shop as well when they redid that one. So we've had several of those things happen. There are some things that we're sticklers on, and it sometimes frustrates people, but we get through it. So, again, welcome, and we'll move on.
On the back of this packet, that Mr. Mike McKinney wrote, it's still got all the old information of all the members.
Yes.
Oh, we made, so the copy that you sent the village, are they able to edit it?
No, I tried to email that one, it's too big. I can bring it on a thumb drive.
Okay.
I just think before it goes to council, we should have it all.
Yep, the back page needs to be updated.
And then if it's possible to have
and-
a map layout for the council to look at.
Kurt, Tim, both, for both of you, if you could, I was looking at the members and who's on here. If we can get an updated list, the list I have shows 4 people expiring in 2027, 2 people expiring in 26. We should have 2 people expire every year, So 2 and 26, 2 and 27, 2 and 28. The village council liaison is the one that's not a part of that.
Well,
Let me check
expired.
my expiration date,
I'm sorry, what?
With some of the
2025.
switching offs of people on and off, could the terms have gotten
It
maybe
should never-
wonky adjusted? Or
No, they should-
instead of finishing a term, it kind of, maybe it got
It-
shifted
well, it shouldn't.
clerically instead of,
It shouldn't be.
yeah, finish
He's
the
got
term.
canned early now.
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
is it possible that some
It
of-
could,
so
but
we'll
it
get
shouldn't.
straightened out, yeah, we'll get it straightened
But
out.
I'm saying, yeah, 'cause if a seat's vacated and somebody fills it, it's just till the end of the term.
Yeah, and with some of the changeover, hopefully we didn't have a case where some of that got typed in as,
I'm
you
just,
know,
I'm just bringing
through
it
the
to your
next-
attention so we can get
Certainly, we'll go through and look at those numbers.
eyes on it. All right.
Point of order?
Yes, sir?
Okay. We need to vote on this approval to move it.
Yes,
we
but
have a hard copy.
we need to look through it and see if anybody has any questions.
Right.
I was heading there next.
Okay.
I just wanted to explain to our new people what this was about, where it came
I
from.
understand.
Nope, we're good.
I just didn't want to go to 3 before we did finish 2, that's all.
No, I'm not. So, go ahead and look through it. If anybody has any questions. It has been proofread a couple of times. That doesn't mean there aren't problems,
Yes, there could be problems.
as anybody
Remember, the
knows.
intent is, this is like, could be the first introduction of homeowners that they actually are in the or in a historic district. So in the beginning, it has, the federal guidelines and different types of restoration. And those, it also has the links to those back to the government websites. It also has suggestions about new construction. It has some glossary stuff about the parts of buildings and how they're built, which I thought was kind of handy. So it's kind of just a guideline.
So,
Yeah, I see what you're saying as far as, at some point along the line, as far as the dates probably got messed up. And, you know, as far as the appointment and expiration dates, and so we're gonna have to look into that.
if we can look into it and just get it, because right here, I'm looking, Tim Turpinning expired last September.
No, this is September.
Trade you.
You're already done, you're off the board.
Oh, yeah. Let me grab one more copy.
Tim, darn it, now we know why our council meeting's last so long.
We would look to.
I know, well, I'm just saying, it should be 2, 2, and 2.
No, there's 4 people leaving in 27.
Well, luckily, in the charter, you know, even if your term expires, you stay on there until you get either appointed over or.
No,
but-
I know.
But, yeah.
I
so-
just thought, I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing it out because we need to get it cleaned up.
Tim's expired last month.
I know.
Well, actually, the one I have showed both Tim and Jackie Hutton.
So this isn't the most recent one too, because I'm seeing that like Jarrett and Lori's, so we've had changes since, and I just literally grabbed the one off of my thing and made a
That's
copy
okay.
of it. So I can grab a new one from.
Like I said,
the,
I'm not complaining, I was just pointing it out. That we might want to get our house in order.
But this is, might be off topic a little bit, but this split thing, mine has to be corrected, Tim, because it says 26,
This would be 28.
should be a 28.
Yeah, because if you go right above that to zoning board, you'll see 2 at 26, 2 at 27, 2 at 28. With the liaison being the extra.
I had a chance to look this over earlier this afternoon, because we got it in the email, and, I think it's really good, really comprehensive. You guys put together a really good packet, so.
Well, we, prior to Mr. Price and Mr. Nitschke getting here, this board spent several meetings, hours, going through this, and I know Mr. McCanny, as he laid it out and put it together, we were on the phone multiple times, so there's been a lot of work put into this.
I like some of the historical pictures in it that really,
And then we had to send it to
SHPO.
SHPO to get it approved.
Fire dates me, I mean, Jeremy and Steve McGee, I know, put a lot of time into that as well.
That's why I say this goes, well, it goes back,
There's been a lot of work.
yep. So it's not just something that was, mashed together.
It still could be polished, but
What I'd like to recommend we do, when, Mr. Price, this is a question for you, when does this have to be to the administration in order to go, this would go on the December board meeting?
Yeah, if, we approve it tonight, if you want it, it would go on the December 9th, and so when I would need like a finished draft of it would be the Wednesday before, so that would be, December 3rd, by 5 PM, I would have to have whatever the final version is in order to make it to the council packet for the next week.
What I'd like to do, and tell me if I'm wrong or if you have a better idea, I'd like to see the board approve this with a contingency, because we need to be able to read the approval that SHPA gave, and I'd like to, and it can be a committee of a couple people, I'd like to be able to sit down with you and that approval and go through here and go, yep, check, we've got it all in place. Because it was an approval with contingencies.
Would you guys like to schedule a special work session, or do you want to have just like a contingent, like an appointed executive team, yourself, Mike, whoever's been working on this maybe?
Well, we can do 3 people without it,
Yeah.
an OMA.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to, how do we expedite it, get it moving along, but I wanna make sure we've crossed our
well,
Ts.
since I'm on council when it comes through, couldn't I, when we go to make the approval on this, couldn't I say with the contingency of?
Well,
Well, it
you're,
would already be, by the time it gets to council, we would have already made any of these corrections.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I wanna make sure.
We're more worried about this, this body having to meet again necessarily, that is yeah.
So I'm kind of asking you, which would you prefer?
Whatever the preference is of the commission here.
Is the commission okay with a special committee meeting with Mr. Price
Yes.
to go over that for final
Yeah,
approval?
I think that'd be a good idea.
And it's really just a submission, it's not gonna change any of the content in here, it's just.
Between, I
you
know,
can change content all you want.
I know Tim and Jackie were both involved with this from before. And because of that, I'd like to either ask Jan or Andrew if you'd like to be on that committee, because it'll give you a better idea of what's going on here. I'd love to put both of you on, but I can't, because then I'm in trouble with the OMA, but if one of you would like to be involved with this.
I'd be interested in it.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Rock, paper.
No, you can do it, that's fine.
I don't have a lot of minutes left to loop back into this.
Okay.
Until after festival.
Well, if you give it to us on the.
I can get it to you on a thumb drive, yeah.
Well, then why don't both of you do
You
it
guys
with
can
me and
just-
Mr. Price?
Blast it apart.
And whatever we
you
need to
want,
fix,
yeah.
we can do it in-house. Does that work?
Whenever everyone is available, that I can do it.
Does that work for you?
Should we make a motion then to make that a separate subcommittee?
Then, yeah, then we need to, how about if I make the motion just to make it simpler? I make a motion, we approve the Village of Holly Historic District Guidelines contingent upon final approval from the committee meeting with Mr. Price regarding the SHPA requirements for changes.
I'll second that long statement of approval.
So it's motion by Cullis, support by Wendell.
Yep.
Is there any further discussion? Anything you want to add?
Just,
Can we just
No.
get clear, oh, I'm sorry.
well, my only thing is, we've been working on this a long time, and it's not something that is going to be solid for the next 50 years. If another guideline comes on that we have to do a minor amendment, we can do that as it comes up
Correct.
with a, new business. So I just think it's perfect the way it is.
Well, but
To
it,
start, because otherwise we haven't started, so that's all I'm saying. So
okay, so just to clarify for you, we think we're there.
right, I do,
SHPA approved it with
I understand.
some, and I just wanna make sure we did, because we don't have it here to say, yep, we checked all the boxes.
Yeah, I could have missed something.
Yeah,
Right.
It's possible.
okay?
My only thing is, I'd just like to clarify who are the people on the subcommittee for,
It's you, me, and Jan,
okay,
and we're gonna be meeting with Tim.
all right, that works.
That's it.
I make a
Mr.
motion
McCanny
to
doesn't have the
approve
time to work on it.
subcommittee.
He's gonna give it to us on a thumb drive, so all of his work's done. It's just a matter if we have to cross a T or dot an I or
Yeah, you
something.
can, yeah, whatever you need to do.
Well, like the last page, we have to update that.
All right, do we have to make a motion to approve that, or?
I already made the motion. It's
Okay,
been seconded.
that's what that was, okay,
And
perfect,
second,
It's just a
gotta
question of
vote.
getting there to vote.
excellent.
Mr. Price, when we print this back page, it would be nice if we were able to have those dates in order too.
All with the state approval and stuff?
No, the expiration term dates.
Yeah, and so the only issue with that will be, we actually have to pull all the resolutions that, appointed everyone and determine, if those, whatever matches. Because whatever the council voted on, is the dates, and we just have to correct going forward, really, and if we have to do partial dates.
So that has to go to the council for a correction?
Well, I have to actually pull all of the actual, resolutions, and determine, just ensure that all the dates match, what's on there, and if they don't, then we might have to make corrections.
When at that point, if you had to make a correction,
We'd have to go to council for, to update the resolution.
but the council could approve that before they approve this,
They could,
but at the same meeting.
yes, potentially,
Okay,
not that, having this.
all right.
That's when council could make the amendment.
Any other discussion?
But that's when council could make the amendment on it.
All right. We're approving this to go to council. It's not in the form of a resolution, so we're good, Mr. Price? God dang it.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are, approving it, to be forwarded on to council with the caveat that you gave, yeah, we don't need a resolution.
Okay,
I get residential structure fire.
Uh-oh. Be careful, be safe.
all right.
What's the address?
I make
Take that one in.
motion to excuse
Yeah,
Kurt.
Kurt, what's the address? It's not any of ours, is it?
Excuse me, my apologies.
No,
No, thank you for what
be
you're
safe.
doing. Be
It is
safe.
not, I just looked at the address, it's not, it's not.
Okay,
I
it's a fair question.
It's a legitimate, Tim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make a
So-
motion to excuse him.
we're in the middle of a motion. So, we're gonna go ahead and vote on the motion that I made, seconded by Mr. Wendell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Just to clarify, Mr. McCanny and I left town one day, we're heading up North Holly Road, and I get a phone call that somebody said my house was on fire. Of course, we hit the brakes right away, and I called my wife, and I said, I just got to call the house on fire. My wife ran home, and she, oh my God, it's covered in smoke. It was actually the house across from his house, but the smoke had already moved down the street and engulfed our house. And so it is a real thing, and it creates a fear, especially when you live in these old stick houses.
Have wood nice and prime.
Fourth of July in this town is not fun, because we have to watch those fireworks bouncing around. Okay, so next is ongoing compliance issues with downtown buildings. My question's going to go back to
Kurt had all these great notes, like prepared. He asked me about them earlier.
Should we go
So,
chase him
but
back down?
I can help.
I
So
was gonna say, are we gonna move it to the next meeting?
But now they got caught in a residential fire and they got burned up. So
Yeah.
That's the way they make it.
they fell out of his pocket.
So, I mean, and what Kurt and I discussed about it earlier when we discussed, when we talked about it was that essentially, like, what I would like to see on there is, and we've talked about some specific instances, but for us to address it properly, it'd be nice to have like all the specific ones that we want addressed. Because, and then we need to have kind of like a timeline, like how far are we going back? Are we going back, things that happened, I know there's specific ones at Battle Alley that we've talked about, but like, we wanna make sure that we are applying this consistently across the board to everyone, because some of them are maybe, 14 months old, some are 10 years old, but they're still violating the HDC rule, ordinance the same way. And how can we fairly do that? Because we're gonna have to bring it to the attorney to say, can we actually go back and do it? So we need like specific ones, specific items on there in order to really address them line by line, item by item.
Okay, so two things that I can help you. And this is a conversation I had with Ron Campbell. He said you absolutely can go back. It is unfortunate, that you've inherited this.
Yeah.
Because as I told you when you come in,
He's
we've been
used to it.
screaming about the buildings down there for the last 3 or 4 years, because as we talked, they keep canceling HDC meetings. And you had that
Yeah.
list where we'd go 6 and 8 months without a meeting, and this stuff would fall off the plate and nobody would do anything. The properties that I'm concerned with, and I'm gonna tell you right up front, first and foremost, the property on Battle Alley across from Ziggy's. We've been down this road with that property owner before, so there is no excuse. He knew better. He pulled that same stunt on the front of his building and was made to pull stuff off and redo it the last time he did this. And he always does it on a weekend. And I brought that up to Mr. Nitschke the very weekend it was happening.
No, excuse me, are you talking about the building across the alley?
Yes.
Not across Battle Alley, but across that?
Not Jerome's building.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanna make sure
No.
we had the right building.
No, George and I had gone out there and he showed me and we discussed it, and then I went out there with Kurt and Jeremy. This was early on when I first got here, and I was like, yeah, I see exactly what you're talking about. And then I started walking down Saginaw and I was like, well, 70% of these windows up here have been replaced with modern things. And so the question was at the time, and then I spoke to Ron, and Ron was less committal to me about like whether or not we can go back. He was more of, no, you'd probably not be able to, it wouldn't probably hold up and all of this stuff. So the question was, like, because I can't just go back to one person. I have to be consistent across the board. And, and at what point do I say, you have, these energy efficient windows that you've replaced that look great, but they aren't historic. And so we have to pull them out and replace them. So
the problem is twofold. And you're correct, there are some windows that were done long ago. I've been on this commission for about a little over 10 years. And the buildings that I'm talking about, we started barking when they were done. And Ron said for those, we can go back. Now, I know it doesn't look good for the village because they dropped the ball so much. But especially this property is like, there is no excuse because he's been through this once before. My other concern is, we held Randy Redmond's, and he's the building connected to it. We held him to the standards. He was in here, he wasn't happy about it, he had to reorder windows, but he did it. Right next to him gets to do whatever they want. And my concern is, at some point, what happens if somebody turns around and sues the village and says, you made me do this, and let this guy get away with it? Fortunately, we're a small town, and oftentimes, nobody wants to ruffle feathers. But my concern has always been somebody's gonna hit us one of these days. And it makes it hard, just like we did with Andy's place on her windows. I can't just go, okay, gee, sorry it happened, we'll forgive it. Because I know that the property where the arcade was is gonna be in this room. And I as chair, I don't wanna sit here and say, I know we let them go, but it was because what that says is, just do it anyway and ask forgiveness later. And that's my concern. With that one, with the green building down on the corner where the art shop used to be, that building, we've been barking about that one. And then there was one other one. Oh, the other one's been fixed, and that was Ziggy's. That window finally got put back the way it was supposed to.
And I have the same concern, that I want to make sure it is consistent, like that we're being consistent in, as we are going back, and that we're saying, hey, everyone's held to the same standard. I want to try to do it with an approach of that, you know, because it could come at financial considerations for individuals. So if we can find a historic grant or something that will allow us to have an opportunity to have like a carrot more than a stick.
Well,
to-
you know, the DDA is charged with protecting the historic district, and maybe part of that pathway to solution is one of those facade grants to help fix that, because
Which you
it should have been fixed at the, well, but it should have been fixed at the time it happened. And you're right, how do we go back and make that happen, because the ball got dropped?
Yes, you could use a facade grant over there, I heard them asking.
Pardon?
They're in the DDA district, they could use a facade grant, they were asking about it over there. But, no, I 100% agree, and so that's why we have, you talk about the Friday and Saturday stuff, I brought like more code enforcement in specifically to patrol on Fridays and Saturdays to ensure that this, because we're in a complete agreement about how it's supposed to work, like, but I'm really focused on, all right, moving on right now, we have to make sure that we're holding everyone to the standard, you know, bring it to HDC. I mean, I stopped Jeremiah on working on 123 Saginaw. I was like, hey, before you do one thing to that building, I know you just purchased it. And he's like, oh, I didn't even know some of these requirements are there. So we went through it, made sure, you know, he knew what would have to be administrative, what would have to actually go to HDC.
Well, and he called me.
Yeah,
Well, ironically, when I say he called me, I called him because I drove up to work, and it's right in my face. And I said, whoa, we got somebody tearing stuff off the front of the building. And he happened to call me, because I called him, didn't go through, but we were calling each other.
yeah.
But we talked, and he said they're just taking rotted wood and replacing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That happens. There was a sign, if you look on Battle Alley across from the copy shop up on the green building, it says Battle Alley, home of the Holly Dickens Festival. That sign was wood, it said Battle Alley. I asked the property owner, at that time it was Jim Hilty, if we could take the sign down and freshen up the paint. And when we went up to take it down, it literally disintegrated in my hands, because from the top down, the water and stuff had been just going through the wood. And when I went to pull it off, it was like,
You might need to wash your hands.
so the new sign, I ordered from Calypso Signs. It is a porcelain metal sign on a wood backing. And
Oh, that's nice.
I had it designed to say Home of the Dickens Festival, because I thought if we're paying for it, I will get some. And I took it to Jim and got it approved before we printed, because it was his building. And you never got to meet Jim, what a character he was. But he looked down at the drawing and he said, this looks really nice. He says, you're a pretty clever guy. And I said, well, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. But, so we have done some of those things and gotten approval on them.
But we totally hear you, and we're working on, you know, enforcement moving forward, and we
That-
do have to move back, we have to look backwards too and fix those things. That's just a
But
harder
we've
question.
let that one go now, 8 months or so.
At least, yeah, I mean, it was before I even got here, and I've been here almost a year now.
No, I'm
So-
talking about the one next to Ziggy's.
The-
That
yeah.
was while it was happening, because I had curtain the sidewalk. And that needs to be fixed, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't even want to hear that he didn't know, because he did know. Just so you guys know, typically alley buildings, the stuff that's in the alley isn't under direct fire from the HDC unless it's open to the public. And in that case, you have a parking lot there, so when people pull in, they see the back of the buildings, both where RHL is and going the other way. And it has always been clear and understood that that area is in play and has to be done. yes, back in the seventies and so forth, some of those windows did get replaced. We can't, like you said, we can't go back that far. But the green building did it while on our watch, and we called it. And this guy, I was out there the day he was doing it.
Yeah.
And I had Mr. Nitschke and you out for that one. And my biggest reason was, we had just got done holding Randy Redmond to the standards, and their buildings connect. So, that's my feeling, those two should be on there. Now, if you're concerned with the green building, is because it's been 3 or 4 years that we've been fighting it, or however long it's been, maybe the solution there is a facade, because it really looks bad when you, that building specific, because it's downtown right in front of everything. So, if you wanna have more conversation on it, we can.
Yeah, I think we just need to, rather than just say ongoing compliance downtown buildings, if we have like a list, that way we can start checking them off and going, all right, this one, this one, this one, so that we know, and I know that it's not necessarily, you know, this commission's job to be like, to do code enforcement necessarily, to be
Correct.
like, to list all these out, but, you know, we're having to do a lot of catch-up, and I need to know what exactly we're seeing wrong, and like, what is the recommendation for the fix?
I can meet with you down there one day if you want. It's all of the west side of downtown,
Yep.
from the township office down, you know, toward Eddie Coleman's. All of those buildings open up to the parking lot, so they are all in play, the backs. And then on the other side, it's the back of Randy Redmond's building and sagging up all the way down, because they're in play by virtue of the other parking lot.
So maybe that's our first tour.
I'm sorry?
Maybe that's our first tour.
Yep.
Look, it can be.
Just walk down.
Well, and I will
Down all
tell
the
you,
addresses
as
and
we
send
go
them to
forward
Tim.
with, we were trying to fix the historic district as far as boundaries. One of the fixes is the building tucked in between Red Devil and Altered Design that faces the party store. I think when somebody put the list down, they just forgot to add that address. But that is definitely a historical building. But
Well,
when they did their remodel, they didn't have to come before the board because their address wasn't on the list.
The addresses were voluntary.
I'm sorry?
The addresses were voluntary. So
I didn't hear your last word.
when
Voluntary.
when the ordinance was written, it wasn't a specific district, right? It
I
was-
know, that's why
the
we-
addresses
Yes, it
were
We've been
voluntary.
working on fixing that way back to,
Well, the ordinance is
Steve McGee.
1978.
So if that address didn't voluntarily join the historic district, can we make them be a part of the historic district?
we have done a lot of work on getting the historic district to be complete. But it's gotten lost over the years. Other than using the word lost, I don't know what to say, but there were maps that were forwarded. I think one of those has been since found. There was paperwork done. We as a commission have to go back to the SHPA guidelines, pull together whatever's left, and try to put the pieces back together and finish that. Because I had pointed out years ago, that was a meeting where Joe Mishler, Ardith Reagan, Jerry Walker, and Tim Miller, the former village president, we all went to Lansing and met with SHPA, and they pointed out and said, this is what is wrong, this is what needs to be added and fixed. And we had a volunteer group of people that worked on that, and then it kind of fell by the wayside. And as I met with Mr. Price when he first came in, one of the problems is you can't get work done if you go 6 and 8 months without a meeting. By the time you walk in the door with the meeting, everybody's trying to remember what the hell we're supposed to do. And that makes it tough. No action needs to be taken, just that we're gonna meet and go over
Yeah,
those.
we'll have to meet, and I like Jan's idea too, if it's, if we're doing a tour, I mean, it could be an education piece for all the commission too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But when was the commission, this commission actually formed?
1978.
78.
So anything from 78 till now has to be fixed.
Well, there's a problem going back that far because you don't know when exactly some of that stuff was done because the village wasn't doing a good job of policing.
We just need your credit card, and we'll do that.
Yeah. But
I
Well,
just was trying
To me, we held a lot of people to the standards. The two buildings that got away with it are the green one and this other building on Battle Alley.
And legally, from the court's point of view, if the ordinance officer got involved, it would be from 1993, when the ordinance was passed.
Oh, okay.
That's when our ordinance was passed for it.
But like, I don't know how you'd go back that many years and know which year that window got done.
Yeah, especially because the record keeping at the village hasn't been the greatest too, because like I say, hey, I did submit an application and it got approved and whatnot, and, you know.
Yeah.
If
No,
we can't show minutes back that far.
I understand, but to answer your question, those are the two buildings that I would keep on the radar. And, you know, to your concern, maybe part of the solution is the facade grant, which might make the property owner a little bit more willing to help and fix the problem. So, because that building, the green one, they're really noticeable when you stand here. Okay. No action taken on this?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be an ongoing issue.
Okay.
Yeah, thing until we,
My point is, we don't need a motion to go forward.
no, we don't need a motion.
Okay. All right. That will take us then over to new business. Well, I guess we call it general business. I'm never quite sure the difference between general and old, but okay. Application 2025-003, 26 South Broad Street. Isn't that what I said, 216?
No, he's in 26.
Oh, I'm sorry, 216. I misspoke.
Hi, I'm Catherine Lukes. This has been very interesting. My second stepfather was James Hilty. My first stepfather and mother bought and created Battle Alley Arcade and did the street.
So you're Evelyn's daughter.
Yes,
Have we met?
and this is my.
We have met. Okay,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
I said, I remember her daughter when I was in there and I thought it was you.
Yeah,
Yes, they were wonderful people, I just want to tell you.
yeah.
We had, my wife and I had them at our house for dinner on more than one
Yeah,
occasion.
my sister was saying that she remembers you being in the shop.
Oh, yeah,
and-
I came in quite a lot. I'm a collector of Lincoln, but
Right.
I didn't do it as long as Jim did, so I don't have some of the jewels that he had. But I did have one piece that he never could find, and that was always my piece of excitement. I had something Jim didn't have.
Well, they sold Battle Alley, and they bought the post office at 216. I gave you a picture of what it looked like when they bought it. It was just a block building. I gave you lots of pictures. Some of them were the facade she drew, and it says, okayed by commission for 214, which is now belongs to the Moose Club. She did the facade for that. She was an artist. And did all most of the visions for Battle Alley Arcade and for Balcony Row Antiques and Museum. It was my mother who would, so I had two stepfathers, they were both builders, and one died, and then she married Jim, and he continued the work. So what happened in the 80s and 90s, Jim put a facade on this block building. And everything is very convincing, very beautiful. It looks like the 1800s. They visited Greenfield Village many times and tried to really be real astute to the period and do things correctly and make it look convincing. But it was all facade. So she died 2 years ago, November 10th, a couple days ago, 2 years ago, at the age of 101. And the buildings, I've been managing the buildings for the last few years after the fire because she was living with my sister and nearing 100. And now technically I own the building, the Battle Alley, or the Balcony Row, Antiques and Museum. But it's about to move into the family LLC. We've become an LLC because we have a homestead in Holly. So, I received, as the owner now, what I also included in the packet. In September, this hazard report, because the facades were dangerous, and they were coming off, and giving you pictures of some of the facades popping off. And they were dangerous. You can see in the pictures, they're either rotten or they're falling. And I was given until October 9th, so we would lose our insurance on the building. So I had some friends offered to help me who had a lift to get the facades replaced, and we bought paint that matched, and we bought all the trim. Everything was going to look exactly the same, only it was going to be repaired. And the work was interrupted, and I was told, I called the inspector, who actually I met with 2 years ago, and he told me this work needed to be done. But he didn't mention that there was a commission and that I needed to get a permit. So when I called him, that's just recently, he told me, oh yes, there's a commission and you have to meet with the commission and get a permit to replace rotten boards and paint your building. So I've called the insurance company twice, extending my deadline, and because the first one was only a month and it didn't get me to this date. They've extended it again until the end of December. But it's getting harder to do the painting.
Sure.
But we have this issue is we want to fix the facades so that they're not dangerous and they're not rotten. And the other issue is the door that's on there has a facade on it, so the door's unusable because the facade is blocking the door. We were using the door at 214, and we sold it to the Muse, so now we want to use the door that's actually there. And I don't know if to be historically compliant, do you want the door to look like the door next door at 214?
So let me stop you. You're not referring to the door on the corner,
That one was replaced after the fire.
but I'm saying you're talking about a door that we can't see.
There's a picture of it.
I think it's covered up by the.
It looks like a door, but it's a facade.
Is it on the last page, the one that's covered in ivy?
Okay.
Yes,
when you
this
say
is a facade.
When you say a facade, that's not a door?
That's plywood that my parents built.
No.
You made the.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I was surprised too,
That's a
because
pretty doggone good job, because I thought,
I was surprised too, because we took the window out to get to the door and found a piece of plywood.
I'm sorry.
There is no actual door before.
There is a door, but it looks like a metal door from when it was a post office in 1977. So the question, I know it's kind of hypothetical, but do you want it to look like the facade, or do you want it to be removed and be as it was purchased in 1977, which would be a metal door with glass in
Tim
it?
Price, you want to write this down? This is a first.
Yeah,
I'm stumped.
yeah, no.
Well,
I've never had this happen.
I have talked to the locksmith who put a new lock on it because we needed a key. We didn't have a
But you can't
key.
put a lock on it, it's not a door.
No,
That's a
there's a door behind it.
Replacing the door to
No, I
either-
understand, but the door we're looking at isn't a door.
It's
Yeah,
not a
exactly.
door,
It's
but
impressive.
the locksmith said he could attach it to the door. But, he'd probably have to cut out something to get to the key. Of course. The lock. But he said he could do that. So I can remove it to use the door, or I could attach it and use the door. I'm guessing you would, if you want it to be compliant with the way the rest of the building looks, you'd want it attached.
Well, that's why I've never had anybody say, see the door? It's not a door.
I mean, I would have gone ahead and,
Replace it with a door.
I would have gone ahead and done this, but because we were interrupted when we were working on the building before and saying you can't work on the building, I'm afraid to do anything. So the building's sitting half in disrepair because we got new boards up, but we didn't get the trim and paint on them, so that it looks crappy.
Well,
But
that
if we'd finished, it would have looked like it had looked, only better.
Tim,
You know?
just for the record, these are the kinds of things that I wish somebody'd call me about so we didn't have to wait so much time. Maybe we could have looked and said, go ahead and do some of this.
Yeah.
Not in one of our meetings that we didn't have.
But I have to be, I hate to see this disappear to a metal door.
Yeah, and it is an interesting scenario because it was a facade that was put up over a historic building that was, but the
Well,
facade is
really,
obviously looks more historic and it's beautiful and.
Well, and it was
Yeah.
approved
Yep,
back
it
in the
was approved, yeah.
seventies.
But
Which, by
technically,
the way, makes it historic because of so many years.
it's in a historic district, but according to what you're saying, it's, the building's facade is only 46 years old. It's not 50 years old.
Right.
So is it technically
Well, but it wasn't-
historic?
But it wasn't, well, because it was approved by the Historic District Commission. I've
Yes.
just never had anybody go, what do we do with the door that's not a door?
So you said that the locksmith said he could attach that?
Yeah, he said
fiberglass
we
door?
could pay him to come back and attach, you know, you have to do a little carpentry. And he said he could bolt through the facade into the metal, it's a metal door.
So he's just gonna extend it through there. I think
He would
that's-
just, he would just attach it. He'd probably have to cut out where the key goes.
I think that's a great idea.
It
That's
would
okay?
Help keep its
It's current look.
It's-
historic
yeah.
look
Historical look.
alongside the rest of the building.
I mean, I can't wait tomorrow to be able to walk down there and stand there and look at it.
You gotta walk in.
The problem I have, I live 200 miles north, and I come down to deal with the building and these issues and stuff, and you're closed on Fridays. I can't get a permit tomorrow, because you're closed, right?
We know a guy.
Yeah, I was gonna,
I'm here tomorrow, I could get a permit. Next time I'm coming down is like Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
so question for you. How do we help her? If we approve this tonight, can she go ahead and, with the understanding she's gonna get a permit?
So, obviously, there has to be, the building, I can expedite it, of course, but what I can't say is like, yes, it's 100% gonna be approved, because there's the safety consideration, all that the building official has to review. Yeah, the building official will expedite it, and, you know, and
Well,
take care of
here's
it.
our building official.
Well, no, he's not.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So yeah, we can expedite and get through, but I don't know what, you know,
But we
additional
can work with-
concerns,
can we
ADA,
work with-
you know, things.
Can we work with her over the phone up north, so she doesn't have to be here?
Oh, yeah, we can do things through email and phone.
But I can't to talk to the locksmith until you do your part, right?
That, yes.
You do your part, and then I can call the locksmith, and then he can come in and attach the facade.
Yeah, and again, the coordination, you need to do it through us. We can coordinate, do it remotely. She lives 200 miles away. And, you know, she needs to get a review done by Chief Watson, but, yeah, there you go.
Well, I've talked to Watson twice, he says it was up to you guys.
They have to give the approval.
We're gonna give the approval, I'm trying to help you get the other stuff
Oh,
taken care
okay,
of.
okay, so then he handles the permit?
Yep.
Oh, I see.
But he doesn't even touch it until the
Thank you.
historic district, so there's different layers. She has to do a building permit, which is any building within the village. But the buildings that are in the historic district have an extra step. They have to go through the Historic District Commission to get an approval before Chief Watson will even issue a permit, because they have to, you know, there's no point in him reviewing a building permit if it's not gonna meet all the historic standards that it has to go through.
That's great.
So what does he need to do?
So if
He needs to,
they approve it, he just looks at the building permit, and if there's no concerns by safety, by ADA, by the Disabilities Act, anything like that, then it should be fine. But this is the 216.
So-
Yep, so.
the building is gonna need another exit, I know that. Because there's a step up, the one door is very handicap compliant. This one is historical, you gotta step up and walk in, you know, it doesn't have a ramp or anything.
And there may be different aspects of it that he can approve. Like he could say, you know, the facade work is fine. However, we might not be able to give you a certificate of occupancy to actually utilize the space until you have a second egress, like, to meet those requirements. So-
I understand that's,
But my
that,
question is this, let me ask one, are you dividing this building into two spaces?
no, we've lost a second door. I think in
Okay,
terms of safety, we
second
wanna
door
be able to
doesn't-
use the door.
I understand, but the second door doesn't have to be ADA, does it? Only one.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the building official question, so, yeah. they
We
still
have a
to
new
this.
commercial door on the front since the fire. The second door is the one with the facade, and I would like to use it as soon as possible, just for safety reasons, because we only have one door.
Yep, if the commission approves it, you know, we can get that expedited rather quickly, so.
Okay, so would I be notified? You
Yeah,
take
just make
care of
sure
that?
You have Kurt's email, or all of his email address. As soon as we get the approval, then Jeremy can review the permit, and then we can notify you once it's approved.
Okay.
So-
And in terms of the facade generally and my insurance company, do you have to get a permit to replace the rotten boards and stuff?
Board for board, right?
That's a
It's
Tim
board
Price-
for board, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
Stop. I don't believe, Tim,
If it's board for board,
Yes,
if we're just talking about the facade, because we're talking about several different things here. We're
Right.
talking about the facade, board for board, you know, that could be done administratively.
right.
But when we're talking about replacement of the actual door, well, and those things, that is different than.
But we're gonna, so that means you'll be able to move forward on that. We're gonna give you an approval tonight to do what you said and go through and connect the door.
isn't he saying he has to wait for that?
The building inspector will give you the permit, but we're gonna approve what you wanna do.
Okay,
It's kind of a two-step process.
okay.
They can't
But-
give you the permit until we
We
say
still can't do it until we get the final approval.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, which they'll do.
And
But
the
tonight-
facade part, in the clock tower that's coming off and dangerous, they got most of that on, but it's raw wood. We didn't do the trim or the painting yet.
We're going to approve that here tonight.
Okay, great.
that takes you
Appreciate
to
it,
them.
thank you.
So just for clarification, there's facade work that's gonna be done, board for board, we're not worried about that. The paint, we've got all that can be done administratively. The items that need to be approved by the HTC is the door situation that the replacement of facade door to make it a accessible, usable door.
Well, she's not gonna replace the door, she's gonna attach the facade to the door.
Okay.
The door is operational, the facade is in the
operational.
way right now.
So the locksmith said he can do that with a little carpentry.
I mean, I can lift the facade out and use the door,
it's
Right.
definitely,
but then you've got a aluminum door on the street.
No, I understand.
Got it.
So,
I mean, yeah, that is a weird one, yeah.
the bottom line is, Tim, the locksmith's gonna come out, make the door work, he's gonna attach the facade to the door, so visually, it's gonna look the same.
I see no reason why we shouldn't just cover our bases, vote to,
Yeah, we need,
you know, approve it or disapprove it, right?
we
That's a
have to have
vote.
a motion.
And then we'll kick
Yeah,
it on down.
we're going to
for a
approve
permit.
what she has said that she's going to do.
Yeah,
And it won't be a certificate of appropriateness, it'll be a motion to proceed.
okay. That sounds,
To
More than fair.
proceed with the facade.
Have you picked one?
yes, with the facade face.
Because the work is not appropriate, however, following prevailing condition prevails.
Yes,
yes,
That's the
that's,
one.
yep.
that's the one.
Do you wanna go ahead and make that motion?
Yes, I am collecting here, although I don't know what application number it is.
2016, or 2025-003, I think.
003,
Where is that at?
general business number 1.
Oh, I'm looking on I'm actually looking on the certificate appropriate, okay, there it is. This one? That one?
2025-003.
so on the standard program, we wouldn't say replace door no more, we just have it say put facade on door.
I move the commission issue a notice to proceed for application number 2025-003. The work is not appropriate, however, the following condition prevails. Distinctive materials, features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize the property will be preserved. And the proposal application will be materially correct in condition.
That's number,
Number
Number 5. Mr. Nitschke and Mr. Price, did you get that? We're approving a certificate to proceed based on number 5.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Mike McKinney was first, he's the one who made it.
So the motion is made by Mr. McCanny. Motion to proceed with number 5, and the support is Mr. Turpney? Is that correct?
Correct?
Is there any further discussion? None appearing? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right,
One question. Do we
Sure.
need a permit now for any of this work?
that goes to Mr. Price.
So do we need a permit to proceed on the facades?
Second
Or can we
Tuesday, right?
just
Not the third.
continue to work on?
Did you not, you have to submit a building permit if you're doing any kind of work like that, yes.
The first paragraph.
I get a permit?
Yeah, I can, they're online, but I can also print one out.
It says meet on the third.
Continue on.
So when I have this permit, we can continue the work?
Yeah.
On the third. Is this supposed to be the second? We meet on the second Thursday, right?
We can point that out.
Well, I'm just saying, we need to just have that updated on the website.
Yep. All right, thank you. Stacy? I know. Can I get order, please? Application 2025-004, is anybody here for it?
No,
I don't know how we can approve it if the homeowner's not here. We don't have a commitment as to
it's
what.
not even a homeowner, it's the, old fire station with looking at, some, brick veneer is delaminating off styrofoam, and they would like to replace the veneer with steel siding. It's the building next to the police station.
Oh,
right.
but where's it?
Not a historic building, I mean, it's in the district, but that fire station, I don't think is.
It's just a steel building. It's just a steel building.
Yeah, it's just a
Then-
steel building.
That would be, we've used this phrase before, it's non-contributing.
Correct.
They don't even need to come here.
So we can handle that administratively
Yep.
if you would like to hand it back to us?
Yes.
We would be happy to, so I will make sure you wanna, boom. And
Now, should it be,
just,
I'm sorry, hang on. Go ahead.
well, so it's in the district as non-contributing, but do they have to, like, make it fit into the district?
Well, if they were building something new, but, I mean, if they were putting a new,
they're making repairs, you delaminated
True.
exterior brick.
True. However, number 6 on Secretary of the Interior Standards for Rehabilitation says that if they are gonna be making any sort of a fix to it, that they need to try to make it look as it was, right?
Yeah.
So is it possible for them to get that veneer again to replace it?
so
versus-
here's the,
It was a building.
here's the problem I have.
That's an old fire station, so it's just a brick municipal building. I don't know how old that station is. Anybody off the top of their head? How old that, I mean, so.
Well, it probably goes back 40 years or so.
40 years or 50 years, yeah. So
I have to be honest with you, I guess I'm surprised that that address is in the district.
it's not specifically listed as an address in the ordinance, but it's kind of encumbered in the district.
It'd be included in the new
Yeah.
drawing of the new
I
district.
I don't know anybody else. I just think that
Because when I got this across my desk, and Mr. Price was in my office, and we went through the ordinance real
Okay, so let me ask you this. Right now, there's a facade brick on the side. They want to tear that off and just replace it with metal siding, like take it back to a pole barn?
Basically,
Yeah, I haven't actually reviewed this one until earlier.
yeah, basically,
Well,
I mean, do a standard,
so can I ask a question? Why aren't they here?
I have no clue.
The first time I heard about this one in particular was today, when I was asked about it.
Well,
Plus, they also gave samples of,
I think we have to,
of several different colors that they're not actually labeling what
I think-
they're planning on doing either. You know, so it's,
Mr. Price, I think we need to roll it over to the next meeting. They need to be here.
I would agree with that.
Huh?
I would fully agree with that. They should be here to justify what they're trying to
The
do.
application says you must attend.
There
Right.
you go.
So I guess it gets,
Punted to the next meeting.
yep,
So you would vote to postpone, I guess.
okay,
So table goes, and then you postpone goes to a future meeting. Yep.
all right. Chair would entertain a motion. Go ahead, Andrew.
I would like to make a motion to postpone application 2025-004 to the next meeting.
I'll second that.
Mr. Keikos and the Dutch lady, Van.
For, ease of using my name, you can just call me, Jan Van.
Jan Van?
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
George would get confused with that.
pardon?
It rhymes, it's easy
Yeah.
to remember.
Well,
Most
I said,
people call
I
me
have
that.
to stop and find it. I gotta learn that when it's a little tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky. But I do go by Jan Van, so it's good.
Vant Zelda, Vant Zelfdy,
Van Zelfdy, yes.
Vant Zelfdy.
Yep.
Okay. So we have a motion by Keikos and seconded by Vant Zelfdy. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And just to be clear, when they come, they're supposed to bring material with them to show this is what we want to use.
Is that what they provided on the,
That's the colors.
oh, no, that's just the color swatch, never mind,
Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, they
close.
just have pretty good data. I mean,
No, I understand, but they're supposed to walk in the door and go, here's what we're gonna, usually like when, other buildings have come forward, they've come in and said, this is the material we're using. So, but I think that approves us in,
Donuts in the truck.
well, go ahead.
I was gonna apologize for interrupting the meeting earlier.
That's okay, everything was okay at the house? That's good news. The fact that you got back early makes me happy.
Yes.
That means we didn't lose anybody or anything.
Oh, he brought the big book.
I was like, oh, man, that's gonna be a
He's like,
long,
all right, I'm bringing the big book out now.
There's a,
long staff comment coming.
Okay. Are there any comments from the administration? At this point, any comments from the board? Questions?
It looks like that building was built in 1980.
Oh, the fire hall? Okay. One last thing to point out, Stacy, on the application, on the first paragraph at the bottom in the large bold letters,
Not sure.
it says we meet on the third Tuesday, or Thursday. That might be why they're not here.
it says third Thursday.
Right at the top of the application, right here.
It says Turd Thursday.
Actually, it says turd.
The third Thursday.
Turd Thursday, yeah.
Threed.
I do
It's a southern dialect.
bring something up.
Well, it says thrid.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even.
No, I mean, I catch it all the time. Tim got a lot of messed up.
Don't worry, when you're go through the guidelines, I'm sure you'll find some too.
Do you see where I'm talking?
Yeah, I do.
That, Mr. Price, that might be why they weren't here.
Did you see it, Tim?
Yours says second?
No,
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm saying it should say.
No, but it should
Yeah.
say that, yeah.
mine says the red.
I thought of it, you know, that's what it is.
But that might explain why they're not here, Mr. Nitschke. That might explain why they're not here. All right.
Will they be contacting
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Wendell, for pointing that out.
Yep, I'm a stickler for the small things.
Someone had a comment. Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
a question or comment. The two signs at either end of Battle Alley that were put up, you know, those rectangular ones,
Area till here sign.
you know, that says what's here, what's here, what's here.
Oh, yeah.
I do not agree that they fit with the aesthetics of Holly. They are very modern looking.
So this is another thing that we've talked about, was when whoever is doing things in the town, when they're doing signs, when they're doing, adding a dumpster downtown, and I'm referring to the one behind the township office, those kinds of projects are supposed to come before the HDC before they happen. Had those come before the HDC, you wouldn't have a dumpster that as you come around the corner, you're looking right at it. They would have been set up a little differently so that the front of,
And the
you're looking at me
signs-
puzzled.
I'm just trying to picture what you're talking about.
The dumpster behind,
Your offices?
right where, what's the street between Dryers and the post office?
Civic, I think.
No, Civic is the street outside my doors. Is that First?
Yeah.
Where First and Civic come to the corner, there's a trash compactor there that the village put in.
Timothy?
Tim wasn't here when
I
it,
couldn't resist.
no, Mr. Price wasn't here. What,
No, I know.
you're looking at me like you have no idea what I'm talking about.
That's because I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I've
You're
went
not
through
the
that
only
over
one.
150 times.
Well, you guys are going 90.
Now, so,
There's-
okay.
There's a great big trash compactor with 2 gates.
Can't picture it, but I'm not disagreeing with you.
Had that come to before the HDC, which is part of your historic district, that would have been designed a little differently so that it looked nicer.
I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just trying to, I can't picture it for the life of me, it's driving me crazy, George, I apologize.
I'll take you for a ride when we leave here.
I agree with you on the
But
signs.
the question,
Yes, they do not go with,
No.
for
you
both
know,
Kurt
the
and Tim,
aesthetics of,
the question came from Ms. Hutton.
town.
She just didn't feel the signs that were added at the end of Battle Alley, they don't look appropriate. They don't look like an old-fashioned town.
no, they
Yeah,
don't.
and
They're very modern.
So are they in violation of our sign ordinance for historic district? I mean, that's.
Historic district.
Because within our sign ordinance, there's a section for historic district, and we'd have to review that and see.
So I don't,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
but
that's,
she raised the question, so we're passing it off to you.
Passing the buck.
And then also the building, there's a building next to the coffee shop, Battle Alley Coffee. Maybe it's 1 or 2 down.
It's, yep,
Yep, and they're doing a lot of work.
that's the building we talked about earlier.
Okay,
All they did was pull off rotted wood and replace it with new and painted.
okay.
And
So
they
they-
left the dumpster in a handicap spot.
They did not, well, that's not us. But
No, I'm just saying.
that's what was done there.
Okay.
That's what we talked about earlier. Because I come in the morning and saw it was all tore off, but Jeremy called me and all they did was tear off and replace.
Okay,
Which, while it doesn't fit into the historic district, they are allowed to replace existing. It's when they want to change that they have to come
Change.
here.
So do we have a representative that goes to the downtown development authority meetings? Because I'm pretty sure that signage, was probably proposed and approved at the Downtown Development Authority meeting.
So our representative for something like that would be, Mr. Price.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's done through our staff liaisons that are, yeah,
Right,
so.
which to be fair to Mr. Price.
Aren't you the staff liaison for the DDA?
No, well, technically, the DDA director would be the staff liaison. I've
Okay.
been attending to support.
All right, I'm sorry,
No.
I just thought that was your job, but anyway.
And, just to be fair to the staff and Mr. Price, I mean, he's on a lot of, he goes to all the committees, and,
That's his job.
it is his job, but, I can see, and I want to be the same, as I get more educated on the historic district, that you're very passionate, like there's, some of you are very passionate. And I never really thought about those signs, like now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, they don't really have like the historic like flair to them. But thinking of it from a DDA standpoint, it is informative and directional, and they probably weren't thinking about like the historic aesthetic, adding that. And so if, one of us attended those meetings and they, especially the Downtown Development Authority, because, you know, that whole district is in the historic district, right?
Well, and part of their charge, if you read, is to protect the historic district.
Right,
That's part of the purpose of the DDA.
right. But if somebody from this committee was just there to like maybe, just get an idea of some of their ideas and plans, not to put a stop to them, but to just maybe remind them like, hey, we would like to have some say in exactly what that looks like before you produce it. Because they are putting money and time into, those ideas, and you know, now it's there, and financially, I'm not sure, if it was replaced now, the residents in the village might be like, why'd they replace those signs? Like, there's more money, that was wasted.
No, I know.
So,
Well, but that's, one of the things that Mr. Price has been doing since he's been here is trying to get things operating according to Hoyle. Is that a fair statement?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So maybe just one of us wants to like,
But-
just attend and,
All right. If there, any other comments for the commission? I'm gonna go ahead and close the meeting out at 7:38.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Come here, we can turn off the. I don't even see, after I'm actually looking this, the parcel that's on isn't even in the book at all. It's, even the parcel number isn't, so the map that you have is just not correct.
You beat me.
Like, it's not, even the parcel number is not in there.
I knew there's something else I had to,
That must be the proposed.
September's,
yes.
my pen, I put my, thank you, sir.
What I'm saying is have that dumpster come before.
No, I agree with those.
Okay. We're legal.
Perfect.